Okay guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the 2022 Trek Marlin 6. We're going to be doing a 1-month review. I've been riding this bike about, I would say, a little bit over a month now, and I just want to give you guys some things I've experienced and some things you should know about this bike. While this bike is intended for more light trail and cross-country / commuter type riders, I do want to give you guys a lot of information about this bike and why it's more suitable for beginner mountain bikers nowadays because of the upgrades they made. But before we jump into the video, I do want to announce to you guys that the Matty Active merchandise store is active now. So make sure you go check out the store down below. I'll leave it in the description and in the pinned top comment. Check out mattyactive.com and go get all your Matty Active gear. Okay, so let's talk about this Trek Marlin 6 and what I've experienced and my opinions about the bike so far. I honestly think it's 100% perfect for what it's intended for, but there are some things that I would change and would like to have better components on as far as mountain biking. But like I said, this bike is intended for light trail riders and commuters, so heavy mountain biking is not ideal for this, but it's definitely capable for it. But I just want to give you guys my opinion about the things that I would change getting into beginner mountain biking before you upgrade to a super expensive bike. I'll be honest, this bike has been able to handle everything I've thrown at it. It's had some rough spots as far as tech stuff. It's a little rougher than you would normally feel on a better suspension bike, but for what you get and for the price you pay, this is definitely a lot for the money. And another thing that I like about this bike is they went to the one by drivetrain, which they didn't have on the 2020 Trek Marlin 6. I don't think they had it on the 2021 either, correct me if I'm wrong, but the 2022s, they have the one by drivetrain, which I think they were going for the beginner mountain biker. So when you move up in mountain bikes, it becomes the standard for bikes to come with the one by drivetrain, and it's a lot easier to use. And it also opens up another spot on the handlebars for a lever, so you don't have that extra lever when you got the second gear up front. So you got the lever space for a dropper post now, which is always good. While we're on the subject of drivetrain, the drivetrain is awesome, and it's the Shimano Dior drivetrain, which is a good brand for sure, and it's high quality. But I might be nitpicking right here, but like I said, I want to kind of touch on all the points of the bike that I wish were better but are still good. It's a 1x10 drivetrain, which it's decent, but when you're on a climb or you're going real fast, it does help to have those extra gears. The 1x10 is great, but it would be a little bit better to have a 1x12, but yeah, it's still awesome though. So when you first buy this bike and the seat doesn't go low enough for you, you do need to get a couple inches shaved off the seat post in order for the seat to go down far enough for you to be comfortable with it. So keep that in mind also. Now let's talk about the fork. The fork is a Suntour XCT30. And I wasn't familiar with Suntour at all when it comes to forks or just anything in general until Trail Features, he introduced me to the Polygon, which also has a Suntour fork. So that was the first time I ever seen a Suntour fork. So for a Suntour fork to be on the Marlin was kind of shocking and different to me, but it's held up really well and it performs really well. I'm used to rock shocks, but the month or so I have been riding this bike, I haven't been disappointed. While this fork is only 100 millimeters, it's also a coil spring fork. It's no slouch. It's been working pretty well for me, and I've been putting it through some stuff. So for the price you pay, you get a decent fork. It also comes with the lock and unlock, which is pretty nice if you want to mountain bike or commute. You can set the suspension the way you like it. Now I know some people might say I'm crazy for saying this fork is decent, but hear me out. This is why I think it's decent, because it's been through a lot as far as what I put it through, but we're gonna jump to the tires now, which is why I think this is a decent fork. Now, like I said before, this bike is perfect for what it's suited for, but these tires are mostly road cross-country style tires, not really mountain bike tires, and you don't really get the knobs or any kind of extra stuff to get more traction with these tires. It's just for gravel, light trails, and street mostly. But for what you get out of this fork, if you throw some Assegai or some aggressors on this bike, that would bring a whole new life to this Trek Marlin. I think that's what I'm gonna end up doing once I wear these down, or if I get tired of them or something. And it's getting cold too, so the ground might be a little more rough for these tires as far as mountain biking, so I might do it a little bit earlier. But if you throw some of those tires on here, that'll turn this into a whole new bike, even with this fork. So in my opinion, if you don't want to spend a bunch of money trying to upgrade the fork or anything like that, just upgrade the tires and it'll make the bike way more capable. And I think this is 2.4 is the max clearance with the width on this bike. So I think you could go up to 2.3 or 2.4. I think the bike shop told me 2.4, but if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. But yeah, 2.4 is as wide as you can go, so you can get some pretty good tires for this bike. And you have Tektro brakes on here, which is pretty standard for this price range. So yeah, overall, this bike is awesome. I mean, for what it's intended for and the potential of it, I mean, I think you can go a long way with this bike before you have to upgrade to something else, especially if you're a beginner mountain biker. Another little small thing that I noticed is on the 2020 Trek Marlin 6 that I had, it had a little hand flap right here where you can rest your hand. And I noticed they removed that now, which is another reason why I think they suited this bike more towards beginner mountain bikers. I don't get a bunch of chain slap either like I used to on my 2020 Trek Marlin 6. With this one, the chain is pretty tensioned and it's worked really well. I don't have to worry about a lot of chain slap, but you do still get that rattle out of those Trek Marlins and Trek Roscoes. So I think that's just the internal cable routing that's making that sound. I don't know what it's made out of or anything, but as far as I know, that's what's making the sound. So if you hear that rattly noise, it's just a thing with these bikes. But overall, I love it, and I would give this bike 8 out of 10. That's my score. Let me know what you guys think about this bike, and let me know what score you would give this bike after your experience with it. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.